so much, ma'am. But more than happiness, I'm feeling relieved that I don't have to take the exam again. That was a very long process for me, and it was draining as well. So I'm just relieved at this point.
On behalf of Kingmakers IS Academy, congratulations once again. And what's your strategy, Shubhra? So, for the future aspirants?
In terms of the strategy, I'll break it down for each stage. For prelims, I would say that this year, as we have all seen, that it was more random in nature and rather than being on static base. So I've gotten a lot of queries regarding that should we ditch the static subjects and all. And that's not something I would recommend because you never know. It's not a set pattern. Some years it's more current affairs based. Some years it's more static based, like it was in 2024. So I've always advised that stick to your static sources. What I did was I had one book for one source. My key thing was that I will not pick up something which I cannot revise because in prelims also you this year the paper was lengthy as well. So it happens that you have 100 questions in 2 hours only. So if you have random information from sources that you have not revised well, then you won't be able to recognize the answer even though it's right in front of you. So that was my strategy in terms of I kept one book for each subject. For example, it was basic. The reading material was basic only. For polity, I had Lakshmi Kant. For geography, I had the NCRTs. I had Shankar IS for environment. For the static sources, NCRT for the science and tech part, especially the biotechnology part. In terms of economics, because it was my background, I had not referred to any base material as such. I mostly relied on the current affairs aspect for economics. So that was there. So for the history part, I had done more because it was something I was not confident in. So I did the old NCRTs, the new NCRTs as well. And then Spectrum was there for modern history. And then for art and culture part, I had referred to Nitin Singhania. So that was pretty much the standard book list. And on top of it, for current affairs, I divided the areas. For example, mapping is a huge part in geography and environment. For that, I used to expand my resources. For example, I refer to a lot of YouTube videos. There are a lot of marathons on world geography, then Indian geography. So that was, and it also helps you build that visual memory for mapping portion. So that I did. International relations is also dynamic. So that also I relied a lot on YouTube videos. And in the end, I used to rely on the annual compilations for prelims. I used to refer to the PT 365 of Vision IS that was there. And that covered the current aspect part. And one thing also which I did was in terms of newspaper reading. For prelims, I was not that regular, but I would advise the new aspirants to be more in touch with the newspapers because the random parts that they are asking, if you're able to track the news, you'll be more in a position to answer those questions. So that is there. What I used to do personally was there was Indian Express monthly compilations were there, and I used to do them for a year before the prelims date. So I would make my own short notes from it, and which you can recognize in terms of the PYQs. You'll see that okay, this is what they're asking. You can understand from the PYQs that what type of current affairs questions are asked, how they're framing the options. That'll help you in making your own short notes from current affairs. So that was there. And apart from this, even PYQs I relied a lot on. Especially the last 10 years, I had my notes on them also. Like if some option I have to research from, because somewhere it also happens that if there was some option, then the next year it can be a question based on that option. So if you have done your PYQs thoroughly, that helps in that part also, like in terms of the syllabus. So PYQs analysis I did, and even subject wise, if you're in touch now, you'll know how to revise those chapters, what is being asked. So PYQs also is a great source for prelims, I would say. So this was in terms of prelims. In terms of mains, ma'am, as we know that there are 9 papers and 2 are the language papers. So I'll start with the essay paper first. So in terms of essay paper, my strategy for ethics and essay was linked because in essay also we need to come up with quotes. Is there now it's more philosophy based. So my ethics notes actually helped a lot in my essay writing as well. For essay, my notes was mostly anecdotes that I picked from maybe Topper's copy, maybe somewhere from the newspaper, a lot of articles, somewhere someone's story. It's there in the Google News also you get. some inspiring story. So that can also serve as an anecdote. So that was there. Some philosophical. So what I also did was some philosophies that I thought that I could quote from, I read more on. And if I could add those as anecdotes, so that was there. So in terms of essay, the preparation was more open-ended because the things we study in GS papers, that also applies. And earlier though, it was more topical based. So knew that education is a topic or women is a topic. So you could prepare for that. And I would say that that's still relevant. You never know. Like a philosophical question could also have some underlying static aspects. So it's if you can prepare some basic pointers for that, even coachings have compilations on those topical essays. I remember I had a Vision ISS compilation for that. So essay was more open-ended. In terms of GS1, so it mostly has society and then there's history and geography. So in terms of history, I did not refer to any new books. It was what I had referred at the prelim stage. For society, because it's not there at prelims, you have to make your own notes. And the syllabus is very detailed at the main stage, which is an advantage. So my key strategy was to have my own notes on every topic of the syllabus. For example, urbanization is there. So you know some data on it, you have some pointers, what are the challenges, what could be the way forward. Here you can also add committee recommendations that help in the conclusion aspect of it. So you can have very good notes for mains, and mostly note making is very much relevant for the main stage, I would say. So for society, it was like that. I used to refer to Prahar notes that are there of PW only IS. So a lot of addition you do from some random materials also. At the end, you have to make your own notes from it. So you'll end up referring to some multiple notes from here and there, but at the end it should be in one copy because your revision has to be easier. So that is the key at main stage also. Like you have to be able to revise what you're reading, otherwise you won't be able to, because there's a time crunch in mains as well. There's 20 questions in 3 hours. There's a lot to write. So that has to be in your mind. As soon as you hear the topic urbanization, you should know what you're going to put in the introduction. So that level has to come. So that was there. In terms of geography also, I would say that I refer to the NCRTs only. And then also what I found that in the syllabus, if there was some term which was not there in geography in the NCRTs or something, I had my notes on it. And in terms of notes also, here what you can do is there's PYQs of main. So you know that, okay, this they're asking again and again. So that way you can prepare your own notes. So that was for GS1. GS2, I would say that it's more dynamic because it's polity and IR and social justice is there and governance aspect. And here, Lakshmikant won't suffice. So again, what you have to do is you have to prepare your own notes, syllabus topic wise. So that is there for multiple sources. You can pick any coaching notes. I again had Prahar for my polity based notes. And then I added from some the classes that I took. For example, I had earlier in my initial mains, I had taken Rao's QIP. So that served as a base notes for me. Then there was Prahar material. Then also I had taken some current affairs classes. So I added on because IR is the more dynamic part and you have to update. So that was there. In terms of GS3, here there are a lot of subjects. Again, there's economy, which actually, because it's my optional also, so I did not put a lot of efforts in that because economics and agriculture is covered from there. Internal security I had to do because again it's something which is very detailed and the questions also are a good number of questions are asked from the internal security part, and that's also a bit dynamic. So it's good if you're in touch with current affairs and you can add to that. For example, something has been said by Ministry of Home Affairs on Naxalism, or a quote has been given by the Honorable Minister. So that can be added. So you have to do that addition part. And also like booklets for internal security is also there. So that could be referred. And then you have to add the current aspects in terms of that. In terms of science and tech, I would say that it's not very clearly defined. They're asking a bit random questions. Like last year also, some questions were there. But you'll actually have to develop the knack of writing that even if you have a minimal information, how can you put it better in those 3 pages? For science and tech also, for this part specifically for current affairs, the compilation is very helpful because the questions are more current in nature rather than base or static in nature. So that helps with that. In terms of environment, also my main focus was on the current affair compilation for environment. Mains 365 is there because these are the more dynamic topics in GS3. So that was my strategy for it. And disaster management is something which is actually like the core material of it is static. So you can prepare notes of it beforehand. So that I had done. So that was for GS3. I would say for GS4, it's again one of the most scoring GS papers that is there. And the syllabus is also very well defined. So again, here what you will have to do is have your own notes, have your own good examples that you will quote from different walks of life so that there's diversity in that. And case study booklets are there, which because case studies are also, if you will notice, the PYQs are of specific kinds, like the dilemmas are often repeated in the case studies. So you can actually prepare based on that. You can identify the core dilemmas that they're asking again and again, and you can have your material and justification, philosophies, quotes for that beforehand. And here, actually, practice matters more in terms of GS4, I would say, because there's a lot of time crunch. You have to write more, and there's part A also, and case studies. And a lot of times it happens that one of the portions becomes compromised. So actually, the main challenge is to write the whole paper well. So you'll have to develop more practice for that, write more tests. You can do, and also like in terms of the main test series, the solutions that are given by the coaching, that's also a great source for adding to your own notes. So that is there. So that was there for the GS and the prelims.
That's a very it's a wholesome strategy that you have given, Shubhra. Shubhra, tell me about economics. How the subject fetches you great marks in optional, and how did you make it with the economics for your final exams?
In terms of the marks, I would say that in economics optionals, it's a bit on the lower side compared to the more popular optionals in the market. But because it was my background, so I was more comfortable in taking it as my optional. But here, also in paper one is the more theoretical part of it, and the paper two is more dynamic. It's the Indian economy part. So that is how the differentiation is there. And for me personally, I struggled with my optional because I've written 4 mains, and in the first 2 mains, my score was more stuck in the 220s, and then I could get it to 235, and then finally now that I've gotten it to around 265, I've gotten this rank because of it. So it was quite a journey with economics optional. But again, I would say that if you have a background in it, if you are comfortable in it, then it makes sense because here also the syllabus is well defined. There are set a number of static books that you have to read for it. Toppers notes are easily available. Test series is also there. So you have enough guidance for it. So if you feel like you're interested in that subject, then definitely you should take it because option is something that you have to read more in depth. So you have to take a subject which you can see yourself sticking with. So I had that comfort in economics. So that is why it was my choice of option.
What about your interview process, Shubhra? How was it, and how was your engagement?
Interview, I have given 2 interviews. In my first one, I had scored 193. And through that, I'm currently in the IRTS. And in the current one, it was more on the average side. I've scored 185 this year. So I would say that in terms of interview, my first was more DAF based interview. So and you have to prepare your DAF well, and if that's there, and they can see that because they tend to ask deeper. My board was Honorable Shilvardhan Sir's board, and he tends to ask more questions on your hobbies. And if you can connect with him on that, I think he marks you well. So that worked for me in my first interview. In my second interview, it was more on the random factual side, which I feel that maybe I was not able to handle it that well. So that's why it was more on 185. But I would still say that you have to, in interview, what you can do is whatever you are writing, you have to be thoroughly prepared on that. And if it goes a bit random, that's just on that D-Day. There's not much that you can control about that. But from your end, there should be nothing. There should be no stone left unturned because it's the last stage. So that would be my suggestion to the aspirants.
Shubhra, what motivated you, and what kept you persevered for this?
In terms of motivation, it was mostly from my end that I felt that I had not given my best yet, which I felt that in this mains I had done everything that I thought I had made a list of. Okay, I have to write it this way, and my optional has to go. Because again, for me, a key part was that my scores were in my optional were stuck. So that was a huge challenge for me. So when I could see that, okay, I have done everything that I could have possibly done in this exam, then I was like, okay, that was mostly what kept me going throughout all of these years.
Tell me your suggestion or advice to the future aspirants, Shubhra.
To the future aspirants, I would say that take it just as an exam. This is something which came to me after a point. I had made this exam my whole personality initially, and that did not work out for me. Because when you chase something very, very desperately, you sort of don't see where you are going wrong, which was happening with me. I felt that I was doing everything, why it's still not reflecting in my scores or something. And then when I took a seat back, like when I had a more detached approach to it, I could be more practical about the exam. Then I didn't. And when you have that unhealthy attachment with an exam, I think you tend to make more mistakes. So take it just as an exam, be more practical about it. Do not get emotionally invested, emotionally attached. Have a life beyond this exam, because that helps you also, because your mental health, to maintain that mental health, it's very, very important that you don't cut off yourself or don't isolate, which I think I did in my initial attempts, and it did not work for me. So that is my advice to the future aspirants, and just have faith in yourself. Have some objective parameters for yourself, that this is something which I want to do in my journey. Like if I have done this, then it's beyond, some things are just beyond your control then. So just focus on the objective part, I would say, and don't get too absorbed in all of this.
That's very practical, Shubhra, to approach an exam. And in this current prelims, this should be the approach for any other future exams. So that will keep everyone to move forward and keep trying. Shubhra, you are a person from Maharashtra, and
I'm actually from Bihar. I currently live in Mumbai.
okay, you currently live in Mumbai. How is that environment of UPSC there? How is the preparation? Is it you people usually travel to Delhi? Now we are. I'm from Chennai. So is it necessary for people to travel to Chennai or where there is a coaching hub?
I would say that this was more true in the pre-COVID era. Now that there's so much of information available digitally, I don't think it's necessary anymore, because there's a lot of stress. I had done my college from Delhi actually, and I was in the Karol Bagh area for 6 months around but it did not suit me personally. It is a very anxious environment. You see so many people around chasing the same thing, so you kind of become very, very aware of the crowd that is there in the exam, and it adds that mental pressure. So that did not sit well with me. Plus there are health aspects. That area is quite expensive. The food quality, the water quality, it'll impact your health also. It did not work for me. My health was severely impacted when I moved there, and I found it much better to give the exam from my house, because again, you don't have to stress about handling everything on your own, which is there when you live alone. So I would say that if there's no other external, because sometimes it does happen that there's a lot of noise in some houses or something, and there's disturbance, or you have that constant pressure from the family, then it becomes very overwhelming. Then it makes sense to shift away from that. But if you have that comfort of your house and you have a supportive environment, then I would say that it makes more sense to give it from your house, because you don't have to constantly keep comparing yourself to the next person around and take that unnecessary pressure. So my advice is always that if you can, then prepare from your home.
Thank you, Shubhra. We congratulate and we pray and wish for a successful journey ahead for you. All the very best.
Thank you so much.